and thank you to the whole Project Possible team for inviting me to share a bit about my journey this evening on your platform. I don't take it for granted for you guys reaching out to me. Good evening, everyone. I hope you're all keeping well and safe during these stormy conditions we have at the minute in the UK. So as 𝐿𝐿 said, my name is Gitari, and I'll just be sharing a little bit about why I decided to get into property and the challenges I've faced so far. Let's just bear with me 1 second. Okay. So as mentioned, I'll just give a brief introduction about myself, why I decided property was the best investment, and also why I wanted to become a property developer for myself, what the plans for Gitari Property Shield are for the future, what we offer, and how we can connect. And at the end, I'll be hosting a short Q&A session. So a little introduction about myself. So my name is Gitari. I'm 23 years old. I was born in London. I still live in London, but with a Kenyan background. So my parents are from Kenya. When I finished school in 2017 now, I knew I didn't want to go to university. I always had an entrepreneurial spirit. I always was the kid in school who used to sell sweets or sell whatever I could to make some extra money. So I didn't think university would have been the way for me. And I was always interested in property or in any sort of business. So what I decided to do, I decided to look for apprenticeship, and the opportunity to join Canon in the UK came about. And I've been working at Canon now since 2018. I'm actually celebrating 4 years next week at Canon. So as I mentioned, I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit, and I've always had a keen eye for property. But one day during a lunch break, one of my colleagues at Canon mentioned to me about a training property course, which he'll be attending over the next weekend. So I said, I'll come along, because I always knew I wanted to get into property long term, but I just didn't know how I'll do it. So when I went on to this course, firstly, it was a free course. So I was like, I'll attend, because there was no cost to me to go. It was just costing me my time. So I attended the free course that weekend, and I was amazed by, firstly, the amount of people there looking to take action in property, but also the energy in the room and how sort of simple they made this journey out to be. So I actually then paid for more advanced training later on in that same year. Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties. So when I paid for that advanced training, I was really motivated. There was a lot of energy in the room, and I knew property would be something that I'd really want to get into. Now, the training was over 3 days. Like I mentioned, there was a lot of energy, but there was one challenge I faced significantly when I came out of that training environment. Whilst I picked up quite a lot of knowledge, unfortunately, once I came back home, I was sort of all by myself. All that energy from the room had disappeared. So it was up to me to be able to find the motivation, and also to find the skills and knowledge to be able to put into practice what I learned over the 3 days. And this is where I started to struggle, because I didn't have any team around me or anyone else who was involved in property who I could speak to. And this is where I really like the platform of Project Possible, because it's a community where everyone could come together and ask questions about their different struggles and success within the property journey. So how was Gitari Property Shield established? Well, as 𝐿𝐿 mentioned earlier, I've been connected with him for 3 or 4 years now. We actually did meet on one of those advanced training courses a few years ago. And we've actually been working on a few other projects in the time being. And just before Christmas this year, we met up and we discussed our property journeys, what our goals and ambitions were, and our ambitions aligned together. And we decided to start Gitari Property Shield to provide quality accommodation throughout the UK. So why property? Why did I want to become an investor and a developer? Well, firstly, one of the main reasons is cash flow. So cash flow is the idea of each month you make money from your property investments. What I like about property's cash flow is you're not capped. More units you have, the more cash flow that you can have. Whereas, unfortunately, within a job, no matter how many more hours you put in, you're capped on how much you can earn. Whereas with property, there's no cap on that. Secondly, property is an appreciating asset. Over time, the price of property will increase, and they usually say every 8 to 10 years, property prices double in value. And this leads me on to my third point, where property, you're able to create generational wealth. So whereas I can earn cash flow today and for the next few years, when I pass on, I could pass over the assets of property onto my next generation. And also, people always need a place to live. Unfortunately, in this country, you're not going to get any more space, and space is limited. So people always need a place to live. And if we can provide tenants with comfortable, quality accommodation, then they'll always want to come and stay in our properties. So what are the plans for the future for Gitari Property Shield? So Gitari Property Shield was actually launched just under a week ago. So we're just in the initial stages of fully setting up the company. But our first project will be a buy-to-let conversion into a multi-let HMO. So last week, Friday, I was actually lucky enough to be invited onto one of Project Possible's live projects that they have going on at the minute in Coventry, and attached to some of the pictures. So we hope to complete at Gitari Property Shield. We hope to complete on a project within the next year. We'll probably do 1 or 2 of these sort of projects within the £250,000 mark. And then within three years, our plan is to move to bigger developments, which would be valued at £1 million plus. Then within 5 years, the next project that we plan to work on will be land development. So this will be buying a piece of land and developing either houses or flats or apartments for people to live in. And then the long-term aim for Gitari Property Shield is to surpass 100 million in gross development value. So this will mean all our development deals that we would have done in the 10-year period coming up to in the 10-year period will be valued at over 100 million pounds. So what do we offer at Gitari Property Shield, and what do we do for our investors? So we beat current rates of inflation. So I'm sure if a lot of you have been watching the news or hearing the news recently, there's been a lot of talk about how the inflation rates are going through the roof. At Gitari Property Shield, we're able to beat these rates of inflation whilst also being able to offer higher rates of interest than the high street banks. Unfortunately, most high street banks only offer you 0.something percentage on your money, and I personally know anything starting with a 0 point isn't good. It will be a completely hands-free investment. So at Gitari Property Shield, we'll be doing all the groundwork. All you have to do is invest your capital, and you'll get a return after a fixed period. You don't have to get involved in any of the negotiations, any of the building work. We'll be doing all the work, and we'll be in constant communication with you in order to keep you updated on each project that we will be working on. And then you'll get your fixed return after the guaranteed periods. And most importantly, that your investment will be secured against the assets, which I think will give people peace of mind. If you know your investment is secured against the property, you'll be able to rest easy to know there is something physically there in order for so you know where your money is going to. So how can we help you? So we would love to connect with you across all social media platforms. Gitari Properties is our handle on most social media platforms. And we'll be posting more content over the coming days, the coming weeks, months, and years. So we'd really love if you would follow our journey, and we hope to inspire you and also to be able to work with you in the future.